And we're back with more exciting adventures of the Incredible Hokes. I am Chris.
I am Mark.
And together we form. Oh, we already did that. So, media. Let's talk about media. Do I need to set this one up a little bit? Or do you,
We're
can
going
you
to put
set it
the
up?
meat in media.
Okay, I think I need to set this one up because
Okay, go
I think
ahead.
it comes more from me than you.
Okay.
I'm totally jaded by media. I don't have any interest in movies. I'm not going to watch the Oscars. We already did a show how I'm screw football. I don't feel I'm in a particularly bad mood. I feel fine. I'm not. I'm definitely not depressed or anything. I'm totally cool. I'm hyper focused on work. That's for sure. But I have no interest in movies. I have no interest in streaming TV shows. I
Yeah.
have no. I watched The Walking Dead almost just out of habit the other night. I didn't really watch it because I was dying to see it. It was just Sunday night, nothing else was on, so I put on Walking Dead. No interest in media whatsoever. I don't find it that enjoyable. I think a lot of it is too dark. I think a lot of it is like there's too much obsession with death and killing things on a lot of it. You know what I mean? Everything's dark. Like every hero
Yeah.
is jaded. Every hero is an assassin or something horrible.
Right.
Or they're an anti-hero, or you're following the drug dealer or something. Like there's no white hat, black hat stuff anymore. The only entertainment I really subscribe to now is our podcast and video games. Really, that's the only thing I'm finding. Oh, and I do enjoy YouTube videos produced by non-celebrities, like just different review shows or like I was watching a channel on body language the other day. That was amazing. It was like this body language expert. So all my content
Okay.
now is coming from podcasts, video games, and some YouTube channels. The mainstream Hollywood produced media for me, I'll get back to it. I mean, I want to go see Alita Battle Angel. I don't know if I'll see it the first week, but I do want to see it. But anyway, long story short is I'm kind of like on the outs with media. Do you share this sentiment, or do you know where it comes from, or where are you at with media?
There's a. It almost feels like a continuation of some of the feelings I had toward the NFL. We discussed that. Um, there's an. I don't have the enthusiasm I had for movies. The whole process, whether it's going to buy a movie, whether it's going to the movies, theaters, well, even streaming, all that. It all comes down to me. It's a question of my time. My time has become actually more valuable and more precious as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to part with it, because I work all the time now, and so now I have. So when I do have spare time, I have so little of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten extremely selective, and so yeah, if I'm going to do something for 3 hours, it really better deliver. And the last thing I want, if like we were talking about the NFL, how it's, you know, you have a product that's so maligned, you don't know what a penalty is, and they've brought in politics that nobody asked for, and the same thing with movies. You can't. We have as a society, politically and just generally, we're so divided. You have studios that want to make money, but they can't agree. They know that they kind of have an agenda, but they know if they go too far, they don't want to just flat out be too obvious with their leanings and run us off. So they keep going to these gray areas, hoping that we'll kind of stay around.
Right.
Problem with that is you get tired of that.
Right.
Because we do, there is kind of a good and evil thing that we're okay with.
Well, like it's kind of like
And we're not getting.
Avengers: Infinity War was a good movie. We'll be very clear on this. I thought it was a good movie.
Yes.
But there's part of me that kind of was exhausted by it because it's like, shit, I gotta watch another one. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, now I gotta invest another 3 hours to see how this ends. And I know in that next one they're not going to get to it at the beginning. I know it's going to be probably about 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and the first hour and a half will be a lot of setup.
Yes.
and they'll finally get to doing stuff, and it'll be like a 45-minute long battle in the end to resolve it. So it's like I'm already kind of exhausted by the prospect of the new Avengers movie, and like
Yes.
the whatever Star Wars Episode 9 is, I have no passion to see it. I really have no desire to organize. Honestly, it's not that I want to see everybody. I have no desire to be the guy that organizes a group to go watch it. Like, if I could just go see it with me and just Jude, a chance that we get to see it, that might be just good enough.
Yeah.
For me. I think you're right. I think part of it is you're getting older and the time value thing. But I think I mean, there's like this obsession with. It used to be a 3-act structure, protagonist, antagonist.
Right. And
the protagonist overcomes a personal conflict as well as they overcome the antagonist. It's a really good fucking model. It worked for a long time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Why they've just taken a giant shit on that. And now it's like, oh, he's the assassin that fucked his mom. Can he overcome his demons? And
Right.
like,
right.
The assassin that fucked his mom. That's the hero?
Yeah. They want to go the moral ambiguity when we're like, there's no it's terrible.
Yeah. It's like,
can we just sometimes just agree that certain things are like you don't do?
It's like, can they just be good? I loved Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was amazing. The ambiguity in it was what made it amazing. You can't make everything ambiguous now because of Breaking Bad. That was amazing because it stood out.
Yeah. It was an example of that done well. But you don't want every product.
Yeah, you can't do that on every fucking show now.
Yeah. You need you don't want to have light all the time, but you don't want to have gray all the time either.
I would take light all the time for a little while.
But the way it's been for the last 12 years, I'll take some light.
When's the last time you watched a show and the hero was just good? Like, just out and out good.
Right, and he's not, like, at a dark place, so he kind of eventually kind of comes to a little bit better spot by the end. We see a lot of that.
Yeah.
You know, that gets old. It's like, why can't we just have a good, decent human being?
Yeah, versus a bad human being.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's wore me out. Just kind of like the NFL thing. It feels kind of hopeless. And this is entertainment. This is not food. This is not shelter. This is not water or air.
Well, you've heard me complain. You've heard me complain. We're talking about movies or just storytelling. When you create a product where you limit yourselves to only 5 villains are acceptable or politically correct, then you're going to end up where they are now. These constant these constant gray areas, and you just can't get out of it. You know, you got your monsters, you got your big business villains,
zombies.
You know, zombies. That's all included under monsters. Mm-hmm. But you know, Nazis, you can go after them. Aliens, you can go after them. You know, and of course, nature. Remember that the villain is nature itself. You had the Day After Tomorrow and things like that. Twister. You know, that's safe. No one's getting their feelings hurt. You know, because it's a tornado that's the villain.
Yeah.
It gets old.
Yeah. Like there was a movie, Olympus Has Fallen, the White House one.
Yes.
Like, I didn't see the ones where Jamie Foxx was the president. I never got around to seeing it. I saw Olympus Has Fallen. That one was a movie. It was a rare example of you had pretty much a white hat good guy versus clearly black hat bad guys.
Yeah.
And it really, really worked. Now, is it a movie that's going to live through the ages? No, it wasn't made that well.
No.
But it fit the mold of, like, they could make a few more of those. That was like the only one I could. That's one of the very few in the last few years that I can think of fit that mold. You could make a few more. You could make a few more.
Yeah.
I miss John Wayne. I miss John Wayne a lot.
Another thing is about this. We didn't talk about TV series. People are always recommending, stories for or series for us to binge and things like that.
Yeah.
I find, again, because it's my time, if I'm going to watch it or watch something for a month, I want to be interested into it. It has to interest me. I don't care if it's new or old in terms of series. There was an old, it's like 23-year-old show that had Linda Carter in it and Lee Horsley. It was called Hawkeye.
Oh!
And I got interested in watching a lot of Frontier shows. And so it was a Frontier era show. And I thought, well, I'm interested in that. So I watched it. Now, I'm not telling people to go out and watch it. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was... But that's kind of where I'm at. I'll find my own thing that interests me. And, in the fall, I was into Frontier stuff.
Well, that goes back to another pet peeve of mine, which we need to wrap this show up.
Yeah.
We were going to try to make it a little shorter.
We get fired up, folks.
This is my last point I'll make. If you do recommend a show to me that is like for 4 seasons of like 10 episodes,
yeah.
Well, that's obviously, we'll just say that's 40 hours, right? No, wait. Well, one season's 10. That would be 10 hours. So 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If you see me 3 days later, I haven't watched it all. Okay? If you recommend something that's 40 hours long, you can't have a reasonable expectation that a week later I've watched all of it. I don't live that lifestyle. I get way less content during the week than I think a lot of people assume. Most of my content comes from social media because that's where I work. I don't get a lot of TV time and movie time in. So, no, I did not watch 4 seasons of a show you recommended to me in a week's time. Just public service announcement on that.
My last comment is, full disclosure, if you're recommending a series for me to binge, if you tell me, well, it's kind of slow and you have to really wait for like season 2, episode 4 for it to really kick in, I'm not going to watch the show.
No. Westworld. I've heard that so much about. I got 3 episodes of the Westworld, turned it off. Everybody says, oh, it's like the next one that gets good. Well, they should have moved that fucker up.
Yeah.
You know.
If you're not telling me, well, if you hang in there to like the 3rd episode, I'm like, okay, I'll give you that. But if you're like, well, you got to wait till episode 10. Yeah, I'm not going to watch it.
I know. That's why I fast forward through certain storylines in Game of Thrones.
Because you add that up and you're like, so I have to watch for at least 10 hours before anything meaningful happens? Screw it.
Do you realize how many people that pause when I say that I fast forward through certain storylines in Game of Thrones? Because if you ever watch Game of Thrones, it's somewhat sectional. They'll talk about this for a while,
right?
And they'll leave it. They won't intercut back and forth like a bunch. It'll be like 10 minutes of this, 10 minutes of this. So when it gets to a 10-minute section I don't like, and that has pissed more people off than you can think of. They are just aghast that I do that.
Hey, you do what you do on your time. We'll do what we do on our time.
Speaking of that, I do.